Really appreciate you sharing. It means a lot to us whenever you or anyone else in our family shares his or her story. So we have a couple of people who are in the program who are still in transit. And so what I'd ask you to do is to just hang with us for a few more minutes. Oh, excuse me. Very important arrival. It's my great pleasure to introduce the Honorable Vincent Gray, the Mayor of the District of Columbia. Welcome to our World AIDS Day Candlelight Vigil.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm absolutely delighted to be here as we, I guess, commemorate World AIDS Day. I've been doing one or another thing all day today associated with December 1st, associated with World AIDS Day. And can you hear me now? Yeah. Better, huh? And Don, I'm delighted to be here with you. I want to congratulate you on your leadership with Whitman-Walker. I happen to have been involved with Whitman-Walker for many years. I used to work in the nonprofit sector, as some of you know, and I had the occasion to work with Whitman-Walker. That was back in the days when Jim Graham was the executive director. And Don, I just want to congratulate you again on the sterling leadership that you have provided as Whitman-Walker has evolved into a 21st century organization, continuing its fundamental commitment to people and especially to fighting HIV and AIDS here in the District of Columbia and the metropolitan area. I don't think there's any question but that Whitman-Walker is the largest and most far-reaching organization of its kind here in the metropolitan area, and perhaps in the United States of America. And short of anybody knowing anything different, then we'll just claim it. It's the big. That's right. We'll just claim it, Don. I think we have made enormous strides over the years in fighting this epidemic, but we also have a very long ways to go. We have a 3% prevalence rate here in the District of Columbia, which is about 300% larger than the national average. We are beginning to lower the incidence rate. We saw a 50% drop in the last year in the number of new cases of infection. We've had a 60% drop in the number of cases that have occurred as a result of intravenous drug using needles. We have a needle exchange program here in the city, and I hope everybody will fight to make sure that we don't have to worry about congressional intervention to stop us from spending our own money on a needle exchange program here in the District of Columbia. I was with Dr. Pappas earlier today, and one of the things that was especially exciting was that he had been with some parents from Ballou High School who had come to him and said, we want to have every one of our children tested at Ballou High School just to make sure that we know their condition with respect to, potentially being HIV positive. We had 122,000 tests that were done this year. It's the largest number we've had since the epidemic hit us in the District of Columbia, and I was proud to be one of the first to take my test. And we immediately, as soon as I got the results, minutes later, we published those results so that people would know, my status. For all the right reasons, okay? For all the right reasons. We distributed, I think, in the last year, somewhere between 3 and 4 million. 5 million. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Thank you. That's our hospital director back there. 5 million female and male condoms, right?
A new record.
A new record. How about that? A new record for distribution of condoms here in the city. The fact of the matter is we are making strides. This administration is fully committed to this. I'm glad to have somebody with the kind of professional credentials, expertise, and accomplishments like Dr. Greg Pappas, who is leading HOSTA here in the District of Columbia. Dr. Muhammad Akhtar, who is our Director of Health, who couldn't be more committed to this issue. our Deputy Mayor, B.B. Otero, who has worked so long in the nonprofit sector and done a great job on this issue as well as others. And I think everybody knows Jeff Richardson, who heads our Office of GLBT Affairs here in the District of Columbia. We have a great team. We have a commission on HIV and AIDS that I appointed this year. They are committed to 3 priorities, and one is treatment on demand. And I think we've already accomplished that, Greg, is that right? Anybody who wants to be treated who is HIV positive will immediately receive access to our service system here in the city. Treating the whole person, recognizing that just treating a set of symptoms or one condition is not adequate enough. And maybe foremost, ending the epidemic. We are firmly committed to that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get everybody fully educated in the District of Columbia, fully tested, and fully on board to be able to end the epidemic that has been with us now for 30 years. I want to present this proclamation to Whitman-Walker. And as much as I know you'd like me to read every word on this piece of paper, I will not do that, of course. But let me get down to the bottom line. Now, therefore, I, the Mayor of the District of Columbia, do hereby proclaim December 1, 2011 as World AIDS Day in Washington, D.C., and call upon all of the residents, all 601,000 residents, to salute the great work of Whitman-Walker Clinic. And let's resolve now for the next year to continue to fight this epidemic, and let's once and for all end it in the District of Columbia. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Hey, let's give the mayor and his team a tremendous response and applause. You guys need to know that this is one of the things in the 30 years of the epidemic that we always struggle with, which is leadership. And you need strong leaders like the mayor and his team who are committed to working with community groups like us, committed to working with individuals. And the efforts that are here, the accomplishments that the mayor mentioned, when I mentioned that we have the tools or the technique, we also have the will here in D.C., and we will end this. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your team. You guys are wonderful. So script-wise, I got to check in. Chip, how we doing?